welcome back to the news at 10. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime today kick-started a process that will lead to the development of an action plan for the justice sector reforms in Nigeria. Well, these reforms are to be carried out in 10 states across the country, with Lagos as one of the pilot systems. Our judiciary correspondent Shola Shoyele reports.
This is a gathering of some of the judges, magistrates and lawyers in Lagos State. It also comprises of private lawyers, lawyers from the state's Ministry of Justice, members of the Nigerian Bar in the state, police officers, prison officials, civil society, all key actors of the justice sector in Lagos. They are here at the instance of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, a United Nations agency entrusted with the mandate to assist member states in their efforts against corruption, illicit drugs, crime and terrorism. In pursuing this cause, UNODC is, among other solutions, leading a justice sector reform plan, starting with Lagos, which proactively already has a criminal justice sector reform plan.
We still need to see more of expertise and training in the area of forensic examinations and crime scene investigations for the police investigators. For the prosecutors also, as well as state councils, we need a very strong consumer protection agency, which is obviously a necessity in our society at this time.
One after the other, representatives of the various justice sector institutions made meaningful contributions on what should be the focus, plans, required actions, and outcomes. It was agreed that there was a need for collaboration and cooperation among the institutions to achieve an all-inclusive reform plan.
Prior to now, the EU had conducted an entire assessment of the justice sector in Nigeria and realized that in order to address deficiencies in the justice sector and to enhance its delivery, the one way to do this was to harness resources across all the justice sector institutions in the country.
In the next 2 days, participants at this workshop will deliberate extensively. The outcome should be a clear step-by-step action plan for justice sector reforms. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, has urged the authorities of the United Arab Emirates to find the killers of Toba, son of the Nigerian sports presenter Aisha Falode, who is allegedly murdered in the Middle Eastern region. The Speaker, who made the call while receiving outgoing UAE Ambassador to Nigeria, Rashid Al-Daheri, at the National Assembly, charged the Ambassador to ensure that justice is done. Aisha Falode had in a 10-page petition titled Petition of My Son Olorotoba Falode's Death in Dubai, and presented at plenary by the chairman of the House Committee on Media and Publicity, Zakari Mohammed, last week Wednesday, demanded for an unbiased investigation into her son's death, among other things.
The alleged murder of Aisha Falode's son, which happened a few weeks ago, I will take the advantage of this visit to plead with the authorities back home and through your good office to do everything humanly possible to ensure that those who perpetrated that act are not only found but prosecuted. That will help in sending the right signals to other people who probably may be having that kind of bad intention. It will serve as a deterrent to them. And I believe that your government have the capacity to identify those people and prosecute them.
Hello and welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. The two-day Monetary Policy Committee meeting has ended in Abuja with the key benchmark interest rate left unchanged at 12% for a record time. The committee also left the cash reserve requirement on public sector deposits at 75%, while the cash reserve requirement on private sector deposits was left at 15%. This was anticipated by most economists who expect any major change in the monetary policy may only happen when the new central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, takes over on June the 2nd.
The committee acknowledged the success of monetary policy measures in attaining price and exchange rate stability and considered the potential headwinds in 2014, the ultimate goal of transiting to a truly low inflation environment, and the need to retain portfolio flows. The committee unanimously voted to retain the current stance of monetary policy. In addition, one member voted for an asymmetric corridor around the MPR. Consequently, the committee, I repeat, voted to hold the MPR at 12%, keep the CRR on public sector deposits at 75%, and CRR on private sector deposits at 15%. 8 members voted to retain MPR corridor at plus and minus 200 basis points.
Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC is the latest addition to the Nigerian Stock Exchange listing, and this is coming after the listing of oil production company Seplat Petroleum on the buzz. The company was listed by introduction, adding about 32 billion naira to the market capitalization of the exchange. Our correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
Arriving at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the resolve is to list over 3.35 billion shares of the logistics servicing company. These are the members of the board of Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC. Founded in 1999, Caverton Offshore Support Group carried out a private placement in 2008. Today, the company is set to list its equities in the Nigerian stock markets by introduction.
We believe that by the listing of Caverton today, you are well on your way to becoming an African champion.
Our plan is really to be, as Oscar mentioned, to be the African champion, to be the leader in offshore support logistics across sub-Saharan Africa. We have attractive industry fundamentals. We have a strong pipeline you'll see over the next 6 months of aviation and marine contracts.
Albeit being a family business, the company runs a healthy corporate governance framework.
And we see the stock exchange as an avenue to explore or diversify our access to capital and financial needs. At the same time, we're a strong company and we maintain a tradition of strict adherence to good governance, to good corporate governance and best practices.
Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC is worth about 32 billion naira. The listing of its shares of 50 kobo each at 9 naira 50 kobo makes the stock one with upside potential.
We're talking about values here. 168 in 29, 251 in 10, 268 in 11, 318 million in 2012.
Being listed ever comes with a great responsibility, and we promise to operate on the highest level of corporate governance.
The local content in itself and the Nigerian economy provides a lot of opportunities for investors. Caverton is a case in point.
The indigenous business of Caverton cuts across aviation and marine logistics services. This listing places the firm in the support and logistics subsector of the NSE. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Well, with this new intake, let's check out the closing figures from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The market recouped its losses from Monday's trading session with a 0.4% increase in its all-share index. Market capitalization now stands at 12.93 trillion naira. Loretta Chiogo tells us more.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Report tonight. The Nigerian equities market bounced back to winning ways today as key indicators reversed Monday's losses with a 0.40% increase. Now, the all-share index ended Tuesday's session at 39,162.49 compared to yesterday's close of 39,007.40. Market capitalization also grew to 12.93 trillion naira. Market breadth was positive with 30 gainers against 27 losers. Forte Oil topped the price appreciators with 7 naira 55 kobo. Nigerian breweries added 2 naira to its share price, while Mobil gained 97 kobo. On the flip side, Nestle lost 6 naira, while Lafarge, WAPCO, and Better Glass also shed 2 naira 49 kobo and 94 kobo each. Zenith Bank, WAPIC Insurance, and FCMB pulled the highest volume of shares. At the end of Tuesday's session, investors staked 298.20 million units of shares valued at 3.9 billion naira and exchanged in 4,660 deals. And that's it on the Stock Market Report tonight. I'm Loretta Chiogo.
Thanks a lot, Loretta. That's business news this hour. The news at 10 continues in a moment.